Hey everyone, we're going to do a bit of a traditional Vinyasa flow now. So we will get started off in a comfortable seated position with the spine up nice and tall. You're more than welcome to sit cross-legged on your knees, or if you need to, popping a block or a pillow underneath your hips to help you elevate through the hips and sit up nice and tall. So just starting off in that position and closing down your eyes, and if you feel comfortable to, as we will be doing some pranayama work before getting into the rest of the practice. So just closing down your eyes. The breath work that we will be using for this practice will be our Ujjayi breathing. So this is also known as our victorious breath. It helps us to create more heat within the body, so we're sort of heating up from the inside out. So the friction that we create at the back of the throat during this breath work helps us to heat up the breath before it gets down to the lungs. So here to find that breath, we're going to take the tongue up towards the roof of the mouth and find a slight constriction at the back of the throat within your breathing. If this is new to you, you're more than welcome to start by practicing with the mouth open, so opening through your lips and creating sort of a within both your inhale and exhale. So it's almost as if you're fogging up a mirror in front of your beautiful face, practicing with the mouth open. But once you feel as though you feel more comfortable with that constriction at the back of the throat, and you can take that now into the nostrils. So closing down your lips and starting to breathe in and out through your nose, but trying not to create a snore-like sound. It's still that sound of the ocean at the back of your throat, so sort of like a wave here on the inhale and the exhale, rather than that snore through the nostrils. Continuing with your Ujjayi breathing for the rest of the practice, but now starting to add on some movement. So we'll open up our palms to the sides of your body with a breath in, circling the arms up towards the ceiling. So starting to reach up nice and tall, then bringing your palms together and exhaling down towards your chest. Beginning to blink your eyes open to the rest of your practice. Namaste. So as I mentioned before, we will continue with that Ujjayi breathing throughout the practice, finding that heat within the body. So we'll come over onto our hands and our knees to start to warm up, finding some movement through the spine here. So some lateral flexion and also flexion and extension and some twists. So we will start off with that flexion and extension within our cat and cows. That was the map, by the way. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, and the knees stacked below the hips. With a breath in, we'll start to lower through the belly, open the chest and gaze forward. And then with your breath in, starting to round through your spine. So we inhale to arch through the back as we lower through the belly. And then exhale to round, trying to open through your shoulder blades and tuck your tailbone under. Last two. coming into your neutral position within your spine now, and into that lateral flexion. So now from side to side with the spine, with our wagging the dog, or wagging the tail, sorry. So here with the right foot, we're going to take it out to the side, still with the knee planted down, and draw the right shoulder closer towards the right hip. We'll come back through to center, drawing the foot back in, and then over to the left side now. So we'll add in the breath, breathing in center, and then exhaling over to the right side. Breathing in back to neutral, and exhaling to the left. So you're trying to stretch through one side while constricting through the other. So you're finding that balance of doing and not doing. So you're finding strength, you're doing on one side, and finding that lovely stretch, not finding strength on the other. We'll go one more time on each side. Then back into center. So now we are going to thread the needle, finding some lovely twists within the spine. Here when we thread, you're more than welcome to find sort of one knee further back than the other if that's more comfortable for you. So we will be twisting with the right arm first. So you're more than welcome to shift your left knee slightly back if you find that that gives you a little bit more movement and it feels more comfortable. Otherwise, you can keep your legs squared off here. So with the breath in, we're going to lift through the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then with the breath out, we're going to thread underneath the left sideways. So a breath in, we lift and we twist. And then exhaling to thread and twist under. We'll go one more time on this side. Then back through to center, walking your knee in if you had it slightly back, and then over to the opposite side. So again, you can shift the right knee back or keep them squared. A breath in, we lift through the left fingertips, and then a breath out, we thread under the side waist. Last 3, just with the flow of your breath. Finding that meditation within your movement. Still continuing with that Ujjayi breath if you can. We'll make our way back to that tabletop position, spreading through the fingertips. We are going to come up into a downward facing dog. So we're just going to start off gently, tucking in the toes and keeping the knees bent to start off with. So we're going to lift through the hips and really try to stretch through your torso. Once you feel comfortable within your spine here, you can start to pedal out through your feet, finding that stretch at the back of your legs. And then starting to walk your way up towards the top of the mat, so in between your hands. We will just find a gentle forward fold here. So you're more than welcome to bend through your knees if that's more comfortable for you, giving yourself just that little bit more support. And taking your hands onto the opposite elbow, releasing the weight of your head forward and down, and just finding that lovely flow from side to side. We'll come back to center, releasing your elbows and then starting to roll through your spine up to a standing position, making sure that your core is switched on here so we're still supporting the lower spine as we come up. into a half vinyasa flow. So drawing the tops of your feet closer in together with your heels out a little bit wider. But as always, if that's not comfortable for you, you're welcome to just stand with your feet separate here. So with a breath in, we're going to sweep through the arms, coming into our chair pose or our power pose. Then we're going to flow down through to center, back into our forward fold. Then inhaling half lift, opening through the chest. Exhaling back down. A breath in, we circle through the arms, reaching all the way back up. Palms come together and down. And again, a breath in, chair. A breath out, lowering down. Breathing in, half lift. And breathing out, folding. Inhale to circle all the way back up. Palms come together and down. We'll go 2 more times just without the chair on the end. And then move through with the chair on the end. And then come through some full sun salutations. So a breath in, sweeping up. A breath out, lowering down. Breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, circling your way back up. Palms come together and down. Inhale, chair. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. A breath in to circle your way back up. And palms come together. Now with the chair on the end, a breath in. And a breath out. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweeping your arms up into your power pose or your chair. Then standing back up nice and tall, palms by your side. Inhale, chair. Exhale, down through center. Breath in, half lift. And a breath out. Bending the knees, sweeping your arms up, strong body. And then standing up nice and tall, palms open. Last 2, breath in. And breath out. Half lift. Lowering down. Keeping the knees bent, sweeping the arms up into your chair. Palms come together, standing nice and tall, opening up 1 more time. Inhale, chair. Exhale, lowering. Breath in, half lift. And exhale. Sweep up into your chair. And then standing nice and tall. Here we will just move through our sun salutations at the start with more of a gentle version. So rather than our chaturanga, we're going to just come all the way down and then a slight extension through the spine. So standing nice and tall, a breath in into your chair. And a breath out down through center. Breath in, half lift. And a breath out, planting your hands, stepping or jumping your feet back into your high plank on your toes or coming down onto your knees. We'll take a breath in here and then a breath out all the way down. Inhale, finding that slight extension, making sure that you're tightening through your bottom and your core here. So you're supporting your lower back. You're making sure you're not just dumping into your lower back. We're going to tuck in the toes, lifting up onto your knees, and either choosing to come into your child's pose or tucking your toes and into your downward facing dog. Just taking 4 breaths. Taking your gaze up to the top of the mat and starting to walk your feet up to the top as well, back into your forward fold. Here, if you need to, bending through your knees, a breath in, half lift, a breath out, folding, bending your knees, sweeping your arms up into your chair pose, and then standing up nice and tall, palms come together, and then opening here. And again, breath in, chair. Breath out, lowering. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, planting your hands, stepping or jumping your feet back. A breath in here. And a breath out all the way down. Inhale, extend. Exhaling, tucking the toes in onto your knees first. Sorry, my tights keep on getting caught and they sound like a little fluffy fluff. So either your child's pose or your downward facing dog for those 4 breaths. Taking your gaze to the top, starting to walk your feet in between your hands, back into your forward fold. Breath in, half lift. Lowering back down, bending the knees, sweeping your arms up into chair. And then standing nice and tall. So for these next rounds, you're more than welcome to continue to just come all the way down with your belly and then find your option, either child's pose and into your downward dog after your small extension. Otherwise, you can come through chaturanga, so coming down to elbow height and then into your upward facing dog and then downward dog. But making sure in your upward facing dog that you are tightening your lower body, so you're squeezing your lovely bottom, your core is switched on. We really want to be supporting the lower back rather than just dumping into it. So standing nice and tall, a breath in, chair, a breath out, folding. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down, stepping or jumping back, a breath in. And then choosing your option, so I'll go down in chaturanga, bringing the chest forward, down to elbow height, planting the feet, opening up through the chest, then tucking in the toes and into your downward facing dog, or as I mentioned, child pose. Taking your gaze up to the top of the mat, making your way up with your feet, folding forward, breath in, half lift, exhaling back down. We'll sweep the arms into our chair, and then come back to standing. And again, inhaling, oh, I did the wrong one. Inhaling into your chair, exhaling, lowering down. A breath in, half lift. Exhale back into your plank, a breath in. And chaturanga, or all the way down, planting your feet, finding that extension of choice. And then your resting of choice. Taking your gaze up, starting to step up to the top of the mat, forward folding, breath in, half lift, exhaling back down, bending your knees, sweeping your arms up, and then starting to make your way to standing. So here, for this last one, we'll go through the sun salutation without me talking at all, so you can have just a lovely little moment going through that soft little dance movement. If you do get lost, as always, you're more than welcome to look back at your screen and see what I'm doing. Otherwise, you can just make something up that feels really lovely within your body. So, standing nice and tall, a breath in, chair. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to say anything. I'll start that again. Starting off with your breath in. Lovely. So we'll start to now work our way down into some seats. But first we will be doing just a gentle morning stretch, sitting up nice and tall and finding a gentle balance. So here, taking your feet out a little bit wider than hip distance. We'll circle the arms up above the head, bringing the hands together, interlacing the fingers, opening up your palms towards the ceiling. We'll start to come up onto our tippy toes here. So you're more than welcome to just gaze forward. Otherwise, if you would like more of a challenge, maybe just closing down your eyes or taking your gaze up to the backs of your hands and noticing the difference, whether that's small or big, to your balance. We'll start to work our way down into a squat position now. So you're welcome to just gaze forward, starting to bend through your knees, lowering down nice and controlled. And once you're comfortable within your position, so once you feel comfortable to draw your hands down, you're welcome to use your hands for support or just walk out into a squat with your heels down and your elbows into the insides of your knees and your hands together. Otherwise, if that's not comfortable for you, you're welcome to pop pillows underneath your bottom, or you can take your bottom all the way down onto the mat, just with your feet out nice and wide and opening through your knees. So here, just giving our digestive systems a little bit of love within our squat, we're going to close down the eyes and just take about 4 steady breaths. Beginning to blink your eyes open, using your hands for support, lowering down onto the mat, lengthening your legs out long. The legs are nice and active here, just into a forward fold. So we're going to tilt from the hips, bringing the chest forward. You're welcome to take a hold of your legs anywhere, or your toes, or behind your feet. We're trying not to round too much into the back for this forward fold. We're just trying to be nice and active. So just tilting from the hips, finding that lovely stretch at the backs of your legs. One more breath here within your forward fold. Then working your way softly out, drawing the pads of your feet in closer together with your knees out wide, so into your butterfly, taking a hold of either your toe through your ankles or just wherever feels comfortable. And we're just going to flutter our beautiful butterfly wings. So just drawing up and down as fast or as slow as feels comfortable for your hips. Stopping your movement now, planting your feet down onto the mat, starting to lower your spine down onto the mat as well. So planting the feet into the mat, sort of kind of close towards the bottom, so closer than if you were to just bend your knees and have them out. So drawing them closer into your bottom. We're just going to start to lift through the hips now, finding an opening through the front of the body and finding strength at the back. So our bottom is switched on here. We're using those muscles at the back to help to stretch and open through the front. Here, if you feel comfortable to, taking your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers and walking your shoulders behind your chest. I want to make sure in this bridge pose that our knees aren't just flopping out to the sides here. We're using that strength of our inner thighs to make sure that the knees are still at hip distance apart. Starting to release the bind through the fingers, walking your shoulders back to neutral, lowering your spine down just one vertebrae at a time. Once the hips are planted, we'll bring the knees in towards the chest or into your happy baby pose. So the knees towards your underarms, taking a hold of your toes or maybe your feet or your shins, and then lifting your feet up above your knees. If you would like to, either staying still within your happy baby pose or shifting from side to side, trying to keep the tailbone sort of pressing down as well as your shoulder blades here. Finding that lovely release within your back, gentle stretch. Then starting to work your way out of your happy baby posture, drawing your legs back down onto the mat and just making your way into a comfortable laying position ready for Shavasana. So here, if you find that you have any lower back pain or pain behind your knees in this position, you're welcome to just pop a pillow underneath your knees for that extra support. Otherwise, just laying down in Shavasana for as long as you wish to, closing down your eyes and starting to settle more into your breath, more of your letting go breath, your deep belly breath. If you would like to, taking a few breaths here, whether you breathe in through the nose, sending it down into your belly, and then just exhaling out through your mouth. Then just starting to breathe gently in and out through your nostrils. And again, still sending that into your beautiful belly. Either choosing in Shavasana to have your palms open towards the ceiling, or taking your hands onto your belly so you can notice that rise and fall which happens on your inhale and your exhale.